Hello, welcome to another episode of Montana Shares, your opportunity to find out more about the nonprofits that make our community and our state so great. Today I've got Cary Youpee with Last Chance Community Pow Wow here to talk about their upcoming event and what they do in general. Welcome, Cary. How are you doing?
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. We're doing good. We're ready.
You're ready. So tell us what you're ready for. Give us the details of the powwow that's coming up.
This is going to be our 17th annual powwow, and of course, it all started back in 1998 when we first formed our nonprofit, and the 25th, 26th, and 27th of September. Those are our dates this year, and it's at the fairgrounds in the exhibit hall, and the facilities are great there for the powwow. Our theme is Honor the Children, and our first annual was held at the Civic Center. And of course, like any event or anything, it takes a lot of support in order to have a success at it. So we've had a lot of success, from the Civic Center, from the fairgrounds. And in 2010, we moved to the fairgrounds, not only because it was growing, but for camping and other facilities, more parking, and that leads us to where we are today, our 17th annual Last Chance Community Powwow. Again, September 25th, 26th, 27th, 2015. So.
Super. Okay, so without a fail, I'm out of town during the powwow. I've never been able to attend one. I'm usually either out of town or out of state. And so if I were in town and I show up at the fairgrounds, which is that great facility that has what you described, all the space for parking and camping and the event itself, and I walk into the building, what can I expect?
Well, as soon as you walk in the door, you're going to have to go past the registration table, and that's volunteers. Again, everybody volunteers. Nobody is paid at our event. All our volunteers at the registration table will be registering our dancers, our singers, our drummers, royalty, different visiting royalty from different powwows, princesses, lead dancers, veterans. And once you move past that front door and the dancers and drummers are there registering, and you go past there, and then that's where the crowd starts. And the crowd, it's about a 90-foot circle that makes up the dancing area, and that's surrounded by chairs, and so that's where all the crowd will sit. And then in along the side of the circle are each one of the drums, and we'll have anywhere from 6 to 10 drums. It depends on when you get there. A lot of our volunteers get there the day before, or the night before, and they're setting up, the chair. They're setting up the circle for the powwow to happen. The concessions are getting ready. Just a number of things that have to happen, that have to be in place in order for your powwow to happen. I guess this year, our announcer once again is Marcus Red Thunder, and he always does a good job announcing, and so that's what you're going to hear most of the time is the announcer, sort of like a town crier. He's going to be talking constantly on a microphone with speakers, and he'll be giving a list of the events that are coming up for that day and for the weekend, so that you don't miss out on a contest, a special, a giveaway, those types of events. Again, it's free. It's available to everybody from the oldest to the youngest.
And so once it's going, I imagine it's rather high energy, fairly, I won't say loud, but I'm sure that the drums have a significant presence in the event. And so once it's all in full swing, what's going on?
Well, first of all, we start our powwow out with a grand entry, is what we call it, and that's where all the dancers, they all line up and they'll enter the arbor or the dancing arena from a certain direction. And then we'll choose a host drum, and this year it's Box Elder Creek, and they'll be chosen to sing It's different at each powwow. The decorum is different at each powwow. But at our powwow, they'll be chosen to sing the grand entry song where all the dancers come in, and a flag song, which is honoring the Eagle staff as well as the American flag. And then after that, they'll have a victory song. And you know, sometimes all the dancers coming in, there could be you know, 200-300 dancers. And for that one group to keep singing that song while all the dancers walk by, sometimes they'll have to sing one song for a half an hour.
Wow.
And so, you know, they've got to keep singing their songs all year. And it is loud. The big drum represents the thunder, and so that's the time of the year we bring these big drums out, is when it's raining, and so it matches that thunder, and hopefully, you know, it's not too loud, but we do have a amplifying system, because all the bodies in one room, you know, it absorbs the sound real fast. So it helps to have a bit of amplification. And again, we got 10, 15 different drums from all around Montana, Canada, and all across the United States that will come and participate in our powwow. We've been fortunate in having the attendance of a lot of different tribes. Like I mentioned, if you're going to have something successful, it takes a lot of support, not only from family, but from businesses, community members, and from people you know, that are out of state that you never see except for that one time a year.
Now, you do some events leading up to this, is that correct? Like go out and go to the schools or similar events like that?
Yes. Our powwow was originally started, again, in 1998 we formed the nonprofit, and then in 1999 we had the first powwow, and Native American Awareness Week is when we usually have our powwow, which is the fourth weekend in September. And so that's when we coordinate our powwow to land on that, on those dates. And during that time, the schools will call, and they'll request dancers, singers, or someone to come in and tell stories. And so we'll try and arrange someone to get there and share with them the best we can. And a lot of those are again, volunteer and creating goodwill in our community. And other times we get a chance to actually do some fundraising. And July is a good one at the Historical Society. We call it Pow Wow Tacos on the front lawn in July. And so we'll do different catered events. People will call us up and tell us that they want some Pow Wow Tacos, or they want a dance troupe with a group of singers with dancers. And like today, later on today, we'll go over to Hunters Point, the senior living facility, and we'll do an event there. We'll set up a teepee and leave that up for a week or so. For their Frontier Days, we'll participate in Frontier Days at some of the churches in the area. And basically we learn how to get along through diversity, that it's all right to be different, but we want to get along. We learn how to assimilate, but yet still have our differences.
So even though this is a 3-day event, you're actually in the community all year round doing these types of events and lead-up events and fundraising events for the 3 days.
Yes, yes, it's like you said, 365 day job, and nobody gets paid for their services for our powwow, except for some of the dancers. When they travel a long way, we'll give them what they call an honorarium. We'll give an honorarium to the drummers, the dancers, and through the year we'll have mini powwows though, and we'll help out different veterans events at Fort Harrison. We'll go out there a couple times a year and be able to sing some songs for different events they're having in honor of the veterans. And our fundraising, you know, again, is through Montana Sheriffs, and it's sort of our secret weapon. Because more people should know about Montana Shares, just because you really feel at home at Montana Shares. You feel like you're not going to be out of place in any way, and through Montana Shares, we've been able to get the Pow Wow name out there in our event through the website. Montana Shares provides different events that we're able to participate in, and so that really does a lot to get your name out there. And different businesses that will contact Montana Marketing, they'll do our T-shirts for us, and even though we pay for our T-shirts, they'll do an in-kind donation and purchase a small advertisement in our Pow Wow program. And we encourage everybody from Helena to get a hold of us and purchase a small advertisement in our program. And we have all of our people are coming in from out of town, so they're all looking for someplace to shop. They're looking for places to eat. The Pow Wow is only part of why they come to town, and Helena is a good place to have a Pow Wow. And we're honored to be able to host the Pow Wow here in Helena, and to be supported by Montana Shares. We have an endowment that was set up by a couple that are co-sponsors of the Pow Wow and co-members, and they set up an endowment in honor of their children, their two boys, because their two boys love the Pow Wow so much. They saw something special there, and so they set up an endowment that everybody can contribute to too. And we were able to have the Pow Wow and their boys attended it while they were here, and it still goes on, and they keep contributing every year. They just it's just something that they do. And we also have community donations. We'll send out a flyer to many donors that have expressed a want to support the Pow Wow, and so we'll send them a donor card so they can decide how much they want to support the Pow Wow with. And we also have grants that we apply for, and how important that is to have a grant. But of course, you have to be responsible for all of these different fingers that you have out there that are supporting you. You have to be accountable to all of them, and that's what we try to do. And it helps by staying active all year round through our different fundraisers and our drum, the Last Chance Community Pow Wow. We've got this drum here, and the Magpie Singers, they're a big part of fundraising. They go to different events, and people will pay the drum for their performance, and then the drum will donate it back to the Pow Wow. Or if the Pow Wow is having an event, then the drum will be there with the different singers and performers, and help out in that manner. And the drum is here today because we can't leave it outside, type of thing. You make sure the drum is sort of at a condition that you could live in. You don't want to leave it too cold. You don't want to leave it too hot, because it's made out of living materials, hides and wood. You know how that how important it is, to keep your furniture.
Right, but it's so much more than furniture, obviously. Key part of the whole event. So basically, just to kind of sum it up, you have an event that takes place 3 days out of the year, but you spend the entire year more or less getting ready for it. And just to put in the shameless plug for Montana Shares, if people do want to donate throughout the year, they can use workplace giving. We've got the State Employees Charitable Giving Campaign coming up, which is a great support for the entire community out there of all the nonprofits around. And is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to add to talk about this event?
Well, we reach out to different businesses, and Show Dare, is one of them. They help out the children and the different needs of the kids. And we're honor the children is our is what our theme is, and that's what it's going to be, you know, for as long as the powwow is here. And when we help out the different businesses that help out children, we get to go in there and look at their faces and watch them participate at the drum, watch them dance, and then later on, as they're growing up, being here for 17 years, we'll see those different children come back to the powwow year after year, growing, and some of them will sing, some of them are dancing now, some of them got their own drum groups, and others, you know, they'll come by and just say hello again, and we'll remember, you know, the encouragement that we got for being able to have a gift of having a powwow. It's a real gift to, again, to have a powwow, and Helena's is the place for it right now, especially you know, when there is no powwow in this area for right now.
Right. So there's plenty of time if a business does want to help sponsor this event, they can contact you guys and be a sponsor.
Yes, exactly. And you can sponsor, and by sponsoring a contest, you can buy raffle tickets for a star quilt.
Okay. And otherwise, if you're the general public, you can just get it on your calendar now for the end of September and get out to the fairgrounds and have a really great time. Is there anything else you want to add?
Oh boy, we just hope to see everybody there again. It's always nice to have a reunion, you know, and fun. It's good to laugh, humor, and we just want to invite everybody to come out and have some fresh fry bread. We have fresh fry bread going, endless supply, it's bottomless.
Supplies, great. Okay, well that sounds great. That's a great thought to close on, is everyone just getting together and seeing everyone. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Montana Shares, and thanks for spending 20 minutes or so with us to find out about the nonprofits in our state that make our state so great. Thank you for tuning in.